What's up, my brothers from another mother? So today's video is brought to you as a video topic request from a viewer via the reach.me platform. I'm just going to hop straight into this. It's an anonymous request, so I can just read it right off the screen here for you. A 64-year-old gentleman lives in New York City. 9-year relationship just ended with a high school dream girl that turned out to be a malignant narcissist. The first thing that I'd ask myself is, do you have one-itis for her? Quite often when guys talk about their high school dream girls, I don't know if it's a girl that you pined for in high school or something that you're phrasing as, the high school dream girl. But that's usually one of the signals of one-itis, which is where you just basically get stuck on one girl and you're like, this is the only one for me, and you have a hard time getting over it. I've talked about that on my channel before, so I know you're probably familiar with that if you've been watching for a while. You've never been married, 3 long-term relationships, plenty in between. I never had a problem meeting women. I'm in shape, look 10 years younger than I am. I own a retail jewelry store. So the guy's successful. Looks good. He's got the optics right. For the first time in his life, he's feeling insecure and his self-esteem has been blown apart. So it sounds like, I talked to Sean Smith about this offline, and it's like your safe world theory gets blown apart when something collapses in your world and that belief just gets thrown away. For some guys, you can end up in a scenario where you end up having something close to like PTSD, where you have a very hard time moving past it. And it sounds like you're just trying to get back on track right now. So you've listened to some of the YouTube videos, and he's claiming that they are oriented to younger men. I don't think so. I think that what I talk about can be applied to all relationships that men deal with throughout their lives. I mean, obviously, your needs, desires, and wants change as you get older and you mature. But generally speaking, a lot of what I'm talking about with the principles can be applied to women at almost any age, although women's needs do change as they age. Rollo wrote a book called Preventative Medicine, which is very useful in explaining those concepts to you. So you might want to check that out. There's a link for that also in my recommended reading list below in the description. YouTube videos, younger. Okay, I'm doing things I love, but I really would like to have a healthy relationship with a woman, not necessarily marriage. Any advice would be okay. So you're saying that you'd really love to have a healthy relationship with a woman. And one thing that I think all guys need to get clear on is, although you may want to have a healthy relationship with a woman, they're not as easy to come by as you think, and they're a lot more work than just dating. To have a long-term relationship and be successful, and for it to feel like it's fulfilling your needs, wants, and desires, it's actually a lot of work. So you've got to get comfortable with, one, doing the work, because a lot of guys, when they get into longer-term relationships, they stop gaming their wives, partners, or girlfriends, or whatever the status is, and they get kind of lazy. Maybe they kind of slow down with their efforts in life. They're not working out as much. They might spend more time on the couch getting fat, watching sports and things like that. A little less ambitious because you're comfortable and competent. And that rudderless move can turn women off. I'm not suggesting that's what you're doing, but that's what tends to happen with a lot of guys. So getting comfortable with the fact that you're going to have to do some work, one, and two, you should also get comfortable with the notion that you should be good with your own company. For a guy to truly be red-pilled, alpha, and in control of their own life, be able to chase excellence and work on their own mission, I really believe that you have to be comfortable being by yourself. And I'm not saying, go off the grid and live in a cabin in the woods without electricity, a bank account, or dealing with the government or women. What I'm saying is get comfortable with the idea that you're okay with your own company. You're okay if she doesn't show up. Things like that. If she happens to show up and she matches what you're looking for, awesome. Brings me to the next point. Read The Tactical Guide to Women by Sean Smith. It'll break down how to vet for women so you can sort through the riffraff, sort the wheat from the chaff sort of thing. And screen for high drama, low virtue women so you can find the ones that you're really looking for, because you want low drama, high virtue women, essentially. You should also probably take a look at Mode 1 by Alan Roger Curry, which is a great book that'll help you communicate your interests, desires, and intentions to women, because you're talking about you want to have a long-term relationship but not necessarily marriage. So you want to get clear on how to communicate that if that's what you're truly after. It's a good book for direct communication and help you understand those sorts of dynamics. And I guess last but not least, two more things. Last but not least, keep working on yourself. Become a better version of yourself. If you're chasing excellence, you will be a very desirable guy to women on the sexual marketplace. So you're going to want to keep moving and working in that direction, because that'll offer a ton of advantage to you when it comes to mate selection. Because women do essentially decide, they decide a little bit more on the earlier stage of the relationships. You know, am I going to date him again? Am I going to see him in 3 dates? Are we going to have sex? And then guys are more like the gatekeepers to the relationship. So make sure that you're familiar with how to vet for that. So actually, to mention one other book, there's something called The Dangerous Personality Types, and the author is Joe Navarro. He's an ex-FBI profiler that spent his entire career basically screening for nut jobs as he's doing his work. And he found that there was 4 dangerous personality types. Narcissists were in there, so your experience dating that woman will be familiar. Unstable women, psychopaths, and I can't remember what the 4th one was, but it'll help you identify based on certain behaviors, undesirable behavior, and traits that you want to stay away of. And last but not least, if you haven't become a Patreon, I'm going to say it again, become a Patreon, because that's where all my best stuff gets uploaded. I do deeper videos there once a month on topics that are relevant to guys so they can become better versions of themselves, live Q&A sessions, and you'll also have access to a private Facebook community with a whole bunch of other men that are dealing with questions like this. It's not always just, what's happening on the sexual marketplace and women. There's talk about money, self-care, and so on and so forth. So I hope that answers your question and offers you some value. I really appreciate you supporting the creation of content on my channel by requesting the reach question. Let me just minimize this over here. Guys, if anybody wants to pose a question, it's just reach.me/Richard Cooper. I'll leave a link below. Also put it on the bottom of the screen. But I am available to answer questions this way. And if you put anonymous, I'll do it as a recording and publish it to the channel. I usually go deeper in these senses because I know that it's going to add more value to the entire community of people watching this stuff. So have an amazing day. Thanks for checking out today's video. We'll see you guys later. Peace.